Speaking of Goldman, are you concerned about the leadership and strategy, and how will that affect the overall economy
Yeah,
next
like
year?
it reminds me a lot when it was like Team Dame, shout out to Dame versus Jay. There's a lot of infighting in Goldman right now on direction, on the Marcus product didn't work when they was trying to do retail banking. And I think, but there's a lot of proxy fights. Please write this down. When the economy isn't good, that's when your enemies are going to really try and surround you and get you out of that seat out of jealousy. It's fine when the economy is going well, but there are narratives that are created. And that's one thing that Kathy was talking about. Like, they'll say things that were not true about her fund to drive the fund down to then take the clients, use the same strategy. There's other firms that had an innovation fund after hers and poached her clients after they had the press talk negatively about her. Some of the same things are happening in Goldman right now. And the reason why that's important, because I think they're currently at $443. If one of the top investment banks is having trouble, what does it say for the rest of the banking sector as well? So that's something you have to keep your eye on as like an economic indicator if we're going to do well or not.
It's like JP taking the regional banks and saying, okay, well, they need people to bank with.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are. Come home.
Let's run revenue up.
And I'll take care of you. So I want to see if some of the infighting at Goldman stops. And if you look at the hedge fund business, they created the modern version of hedge funds. Of course, when you expand, there's some mistakes that are made, but to see the active infighting, which you can tell me, I've never heard any infighting from Goldman because their culture is normally so quiet.
Yeah.
To publicly to be against their CEO and the strategy, and now they're spinning off businesses that he acquired. They're looking like they're trying to attack him to take that company over.
Do you think the innovation was an attempt for, and we spoke about this yesterday, about wealth being quiet, and obviously this is one of the best investment banks of all time.
Yeah.
But trying to have new ways to have eyeballs by using innovation.
Yeah.
Example of the Apple Card, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Do you think this was a conscious effort to say, all right, let's be more out in the front? Yeah.
I believe so, because, and then also too, when capital comes in, when you have shareholders, you have to deploy the money. You can't just sit on cash. But also when that inflation, like, please, the most important thing to understand when we're looking at macro cycles is when interest rates go up more than double. So if we go from 3 to 6 or 6 to 12, there are businesses that can do really well in a zero interest rate environment to 3%.
Tech companies.
And then, yes, for example, or payment processors, right? And that's like, if we go back to Square, that's the only thing that ruined my thesis on when the inflation changed, that changed the entire business model because they're trying to make profit on 1 to 3%.
Yeah.
If interest is 6%, you're negative. And if business goes from 6 to 12%, that's a different crop of businesses that can
They'll be in the dead or alive.
Absolutely. So that's why the profit margin matters more than anything. So learning how to scale while keeping that profit margin high is really key. And this is why I love Apple. Worst case scenario, their margins will go to 30% if we go to a 12% interest rate environment, but they'll still be doing better than most of their competition.
All right.